Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Rambling Toffee podcast. I am Mark. I hope everybody's had a wonderful weekend and enjoyed the sunshine and enjoyed the football specifically. It was a really good performance. Positive, aggressive, anything about it, everything. It was just a really good standout performance. Everybody played really well. We could have had six, seven, eight, nine. I don't know how many chances. We could have been further ahead than the 3-0 scoreline that was in the end. But yes, it was such a positive result. And of course, with the sun shining, somebody mentioned to me at the game, but basically it seems to be that we seem to do well when the sun's shining and it's warm. So I don't know how true that is. Maybe it is true or not, but who cares? It was a good result. Again, okay, it was against Bournemouth again, who are not exactly firing on all cylinders themselves. Um, but we have to beat the team in front of us, and we went out there and we accomplished that job professionally and in such a manner that, for me, it's going forward into the season. I think I could be more and more optimistic that we're going to be okay, that we're not going to have struggling in other games going forward. I know we've got Liverpool and we've got Wolves upcoming away from home, so yes, they're going to be difficult games to get through. But I think from that performance on Saturday and the performances that we have had away from home and the way that we played and the way that we've created the opportunities and put the ball in the back of the net, which is the main thing. It's been great to see, and it's wonderful that we get to a Monday morning. We're on international break, and basically there's a positive feel in the air that off that performance that going forward for the rest of the season, us marking any kind of injuries that we may going forward. But at the moment we're up to full strength. We've still got Seamus Coleman to come back, but we've got some good options there. We can change it around. We can be a little bit different tactically and in formation wise, as we've seen further in the games against, especially specifically against Aston Villa. But it was great to see the team that was put out by Sean Dyche. I thought it was the right call um, for who he chose. I think the only decision I think that maybe it worked in our favour as regards to Anana and of course Idrissa Gana Gay. I thought Idrissa Gana Gay, I think he's been on and off performance wise, and I just felt that as a creativity in that central area, it wasn't working for him. He's not been performing well enough to actually be able to affect the game the way that we want to. James Garner, of course, was normally been playing on the wing, which he shouldn't be playing there. He should be playing his position centrally. And what happened on Saturday was a misfortune for Idrissa Gana Gueye with the injury before the game. Anana was dropped to the bench. If you believe what was said, that something happened, he turned up late in training, or somebody mentioned to me he turned up late to the game on Saturday. I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what it is. I know Sean Dyche came out with that it was a tactical decision to put Anana on the bench, but I don't know what the full story is on that. But anyway, but with that injury, Anana came back in, and James Garner went into the middle, and it was just night and day. And I think those two have been performing quite well, specifically away from home, and they seem to build up a good partnership. And we kept Decore, who I think was decided to be more, the way that he's been playing away from home, get further up the field, get further with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and actually, get in the box, get the opportunities that he can. And because he's been scoring goals, which is a thing that he's been doing all this season, so to continue in that, which is we've all seen what he's been doing away from home in the games of Brentford and of course at Villa, but he needs to do it, see if do it at home, and it was just how it started. And right from the front, right from the start, right from the front, we were aggressive. We were in the tackles. We were pushing them further back, and of course they made the error, which enabled James Garner to get the first goal. And after that, it was just, when was the second goal coming? Where was the third goal coming? Okay, for me personally, we were 1 up, which is great. And we needed that. But it was like this, still at that point in time, the way, things have been at home, is that, they're going to come back into it. They're going to come back into it. This is not going to sustain for this amount of time. But we kept on plucking away. We kept on creating opportunities. And then we got and then, of course, Jack Harrison, who's come in, for the game, first start at home for Everton, and he was just absolutely fantastic all afternoon. He was just up and down. His creativity, his energy and drive to get into the box, to get the balls across, getting everybody else involved was just absolutely fantastic, and it seemed to drive everybody else. But with that second goal, though, well, it's going to be one of those golden opportunities. But the fact is that he actually thought about it when the ball came down, and he knew instead of blasting it, because that's what I thought he was going to do, he just nicely dimped it over the goalkeeper and hit the pole, hit the bar, and went in. It was just an absolute wonderful goal. And to be 2-0 up at half time, it was like, oh my God, we've not been here before. It's been a while. And I think the last time that we had a 3-0 win was Crystal Palace under Frank Lampard, and that was last season. And it's such a long time ago. So it's amazing to have that momentum. Even when we were 2 up at half time, I think I was speaking to a friend next to me, and basically we were just saying the same thing. We need another goal. There was still that bit of nervousness about Everton at that moment in time, as much as we played really, really well, and the likes of James Garner getting on the ball and passing the ball around and creating opportunities and getting forward, and seeing Anana playing the best game I think he's played for us, specifically at home, and he seems to be growing in confidence, which is really, really good to see. And those two need to be the next game, even if it's Liverpool, they need to be starting. If Idrissa Gueye is fit enough, he needs to be sitting on the bench, unless it's a tactical reason to play to be more defensive. I don't know, but from my point of view, whenever I see a performance like that, is that to stick with that team, stick with it because it's played well enough. They're full of confidence. They know what they're doing. They're like a team. They felt like a team. That's the biggest thing about it. It felt like we're watching a football team. We're not a bunch of individuals, not a team that we have seen this season in some parts playing not just like individuals, but not like getting the impression that they just don't know each other, don't know what they were doing, they don't know what the formations or what the tactics supposed to be, what Sean Dyche is putting out there. But that was a team. Everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody knew what they wanted to do. Everybody was, you know, pushing and getting right, being aggressive, being driven, being passionate, getting, you can see it. And when you saw that, that got the fans involved. That's got us involved. We wanted to. We were getting right behind this. We were enjoying this. And as much as there was still a bit of nervousness about, even being 2 up, as I say, as we went into half time, we I just felt confident we could probably get a third or a fourth. There was like this battle going on in my brain of one part of my brain going, we have to be, let's keep this as it is. Let's keep it 2. Let's take it to the end. Let's get this game out of the way. Let's get this win out of the way. And then there was another part of me saying, go, 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 go for it. We're playing well enough. Go for it. Take risks, take gambles, go for it. You're playing well at this moment in time. Keep that up, because it got to half time, and naturally you got the 15-minute break at half time, and they were going to come out the second half, and there was and my expectation was we were just going to go backwards, and then we're going to let Bournemouth back into the game. But we didn't. We just kept on going because the players, I think, felt we are enjoying this game here. We're going to go out there and we're going to continue doing that because we can get more goals here. And the opportunities that we had in the first half, not just the 2 that we had, we had opportunities in the first half. We hit the bar with Calvert-Lewin. We've had other opportunities with Anana. The ball went past. So there was opportunities, and then in the second half, we just continued on. And that's the thing, and it just continued on and on and on. Jack Harrison kept on being influential, and you started to see Decore grow and grow and grow throughout the whole of the game. He was up and down. He was running everywhere. He was, it was so wonderful to see players full of confidence, full of in vigor, and full of you know I can't think of the word, but basically going out there and really, really putting in, you know, enjoying their football, which is what you want to do. You want to, they're football players. They want to enjoy the football that they want to do. They want to go out there and express themselves and do the things they want to do. And it's when we've got a full strength squad and you've got a situation where you can change tactically and you do change formation or change tactically and you can do different things and you can try different players. You can say, well, Jack Harrison may need a bit of a rest from this point of view. Let's bring, Danjuma in. Danjuma's on the bench. We had McNeil's play got better and better as the game went on. He was a bit struggling in the first half, I thought, but he got better and better as the second half went on. And you can just see and it's amazing to see. And when you see that going on, and when we got the third goal by Decore, and everything about it. But again, it was set up by being aggressive and fighting for that ball, getting in the faces of the players and stopping them from trying to play their game and trying to get them to settle down. Because in the Premier League, you can't do that, and we've been doing that this season where we started off really well and playing good, creating opportunities. But what happens next is we seem to go back into our shell and as mentioned about Fulham and Wolves games, and I'm going to keep on using them as examples here. Forget about the Villa game because that we were terrible in every way possible. But when I'm looking at we're at home. What I think is a simple thing is that we created opportunities in them games, and basically we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And because we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, what we saw next was gradually the players going further back into their shell, further back into the shell, and allowing Fulham and Wolves and teams like that to come more and more back into the game. And because of that, that created the opportunities they had. And I think if you look at that, they only had one chance here or there, one chance, and he scored from it. And then we couldn't get back into the game. And then what happens next is the confidence starts to go, and you can't rebuild that, and then you can't get a win, and you can't get going again. So the catalyst of this is that I think the Sheffield United game when we drew 2-2, we could have won that game again. But the catalyst is that we scored a couple of goals, we got a point, we didn't lose, we were a little bit better, more compact, more competitive in a sense. So when we again got to Arsenal, of course, I know I'm divulging away from, the Bournemouth game at this moment, but I'll say when we got to the Wolves game, I mean the Arsenal game, we just went tactically very defensive, and everybody is we just wanted to try and get a result by a draw, and it was very negative, and and the players didn't feel happy with it. And this is where we talk about after that game specifically. We talk about Sean Dyche's position and is he good enough manager for Everton? Should he be still in a job? At this moment in time, again, it's quite hard. We're stuck in a takeover at the moment. Anyway, I'll talk about more about the takeover in a bit. But when I mention about Sean Dyche, is that he's not going to be the manager in the future at Everton Football Club. It'll be somebody else, and I think somebody else will take on um, this team and then move it forward. Uh, Sean Dyche is the moment. There's still a lot of questions to ask about him and how he sets up and how the team's been playing over the season. You got to remember this is our second win at home in the Premier League. In the Premier League this season, second win this season, and it's just basically not good enough because we need to be winning more matches, and that's the result business that is the Premier League. And I still have doubt about him, and I still think that at some point in the future that if it continues in a way that, okay, we're getting results at the moment and we're going in the right pathway. If, and this is a big if we can start picking up more and more results like in the way that we played against Bournemouth going forward, and we continue to do that, then yeah, Sean Dyche will probably have a role to play this season. But at the moment, there's still a doubt there because at the moment, as much as these players performed really, really well against Bournemouth, who are a team that are going to be down there, maybe with us, we'll have to wait and see. But there is still that doubt there. Is he the right man to take us forward going into the new stadium? Do we need a new coach, a head coach? We may not need a manager, we need a more a head coach, better coaches going forward because when we get to that position in the new stadium and we move on, we need to have a team that's going to be competitive enough and good enough that will push to get us further up the table and get opportunities getting into Europe because that's where we need to be and that's where we need to get to. But we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, I digressed and I apologise. I just moved on as I do in my rambling way. I seem to manoeuvre away from things. Um, but going back to the game, second half, Harrison was more influential. McNeil getting more in the game. Decore, Garner pulling strings in the central area. And, a shout out for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who I think was back to his wonderful best. And I think some of the touches he did, he was getting on flicks, he was just creating opportunities. He got a couple of opportunities for himself, didn't score on this occasion, but he got himself around and he worked his socks off. And I think he's been pivotal for, I think, the way the team is now performing, hopefully in a positive sense going forward. We have got Beto and we've got Chimiti on the bench, but Beto has come on. He had a couple of opportunities, and it seems to be it's reversed itself this time because everybody felt when Calvert-Lewin came back, Beto can start the games and let Calvert-Lewin gradually get himself back into, playing full games, getting back to full fitness, and Beto was going to be that player that was going to, you know, start the games, and then it seems to reverse. And now Calvert-Lewin is starting the games and playing really, really well. And Beto is sitting, he's chomping at the bit because I was watching him warming up, and he was desperate to get on the pitch. He was desperate to get on. He wanted to score. He wanted to play, and that is the great attitude he's got, and he's going to work hard. But I think because he's come from Udinese, I think it's going to take him time now to settle in, and I think he's going to get his opportunities, and he'll continue to get his opportunities. I think the next game is Burnley in the League Cup when we're playing them in the League Cup later in the month, and he'll probably start that game in the cup competition, and we'll see. But at the moment, I would guess you would probably want to go more with Calvert-Lewin because the way he's playing at the moment, and he's become that outlet that we need, that we've missed for a long time. And long may it continue. Long may we go into the Liverpool game, which is upcoming, and hopefully, you never know. You never know. Liverpool are doing okay, uh, and yeah, you drew yesterday and he lost against Spurs, but they are playing well and they are up there. So it's going to be a difficult game when we come to play them. I'll do a further review regarding the Liverpool game nearer the time. So look out for that when it's all ready to go. So yes, but as for that performance, it was a positive. It was everything you want from an Everton team in the way that they went about it. The players enjoyed it, and we got some really, really good performances right across the board. From as I mentioned, Dominic Calvert-Lewin playing really, really well. From Jack Harrison, from James Garner, from Anana, from Jared Brantwaite, who I thought was really, really good and getting better and better. And it's so wonderful to hear and see that he signed a new contract extension, so that really, really helps going forward for him. And also it does further down the field if clubs coming in, it will get even bigger a value for him going forward, but we will want him to stay a little bit longer, really, as he continues to develop. Because I think the way he's going, I think he'll get a call by England at some point. Maybe not this season, but I think into next season, if he continues to play the way that he is. I just want to put another shout out to Miklenko. Defensively, he worked really, really hard on Saturday. He made a really good defensive performance, and I think that's been continued for the last few weeks. So good on him, and I think he's getting a little bit more forward than he usually does as well, which is good. So long may it continue. And I know it's Bournemouth again. I mentioned it is Bournemouth, but you have to beat the team in front of you, and that's what we did. We could have won 6 or 7. It was just a really, really positive performance, and we start this week, in a positive frame of mind going forward. And we can take this on, and hopefully in the performances against Liverpool upcoming. I think we can put a challenge in there for them, and we can put a performance in there. But will it be a win? Well, I'm optimistic. We have to be optimistic. There's no point trying to be negative about it. It is Liverpool, yes, so be it. But you know, that's the way forward, is to try and be as positive as possible. I think any kind of result like we did on Saturday is going to drive that, not just in the players but in the fans as well. And just let's hope going forward that you know, we can go to Liverpool and we can show that kind of commitment again and show that kind of aggression and press and everything else that they were doing, which hopefully will continue. Anyway, on that front, yes, it was a great result. So long may it continue. As just before I finish this podcast today, I just want to mention about the 777 takeover, as probably a lot of the season ticket members and members have probably seen an email that came on Saturday, which came through the Everton official channels, and a statement that came from 777 regarding, the ongoing takeover and what they hope will be the completion at some point in the future of the takeover of Everton Football Club. And I am still very wary of them because sadly, as much as they don't listen to, as much in that statement they say do not listen to what the media is saying, the noise that is out there regarding, all the different things, all the speculation of all the different things that's ongoing, like legal issues and court cases and um, transfer ban from another club, and all sorts of different things like that. Um, you know, do not listen to to that noise and try to ignore it. And they tried to explain a little bit about what they want to bring in, but obviously they can't say too much legally, which is frustrating as an Everton fan because I would like to know more about what they intend to bring in, what this multi-club um, format brings for Everton, how they fit into that, and understanding, because at the end of the day, it's not just about that. It's about a lot of things that are issues at this football club currently. And of course, that's what's in the media. It's not just about 777, but it's what's out there currently about 777 paying loan to keep the club going, week to week, month to month, and while the takeover is ongoing. And basically, that's concerning me straight away because if they don't take over the football club and it's found that the Premier League find that they're not competent enough to take over Everton Football Club, then where are we? We're back at square one, and we've no. They'll probably. I don't know if they'll want their money back, what they've invested in. I don't know. Um, we'll see. That's what's worrying me. That's what's up in the air at the moment. So that's one thing. You've got the stadium that needs to be built. To continue to be invested in. So where's the rest of that money going to come from? These are questions that are being asked. I think there's been an email out there from the FAB, through and also through social media that through the meeting that they've had, they've asked a lot of questions to the 777, and hopefully they'll answer it and give us the the right answers that we want to hear from what we're asking. So it'll be interesting on that. But again, from that, there was some positivity in the way that they were talking about Everton. They mentioned, good, nothing but the best is good enough. They put things like that in within that statement. Trying to give out positivity that we want this club to be back up there again, back challenging. Back where they belong really. And at the moment everything's up in the air, and until they communicate more freely about what their plans are for Everton Football Club, how they're going to make that happen. Not just investment is about commercially. It's about not just about the stadium. It's not just about the everyday cost of day to day running. About transfers, not just the men's team but the women's team and everything else like that. Apologies. It's what are their plans going forward? How is that going to help Everton going forward? And the big question is it's still being needs to be asked, and it's been asked, is how are they funding this? Where's the money coming from? Because it's a lot of money. And if you believe what the Daily Mail, Daily Fail said, that we're basically £1 billion in debt, and that may be true. I don't know, maybe false. Um, but if that's true, I don't believe what they write anyway. But if it's true, then that is really really concerning, and that just means all the debt that they currently have is when they come in. It's not just about keeping the club running. It's about the stadium build and making sure that it's completed. It's about the transfer window. It's about all them things. It's a lot of stuff. And if we are in that, and again, what worries me is if they haven't got the funding for this, how are they going to fund it? And what's worrying me is why, how what will happen if they drop out? What if they don't have Premier League decide that you're not competent enough? Or what happens if the Financial Conduct Authority decides you're not good enough? We've checked your books, checked everything. You're not a good enough owner for Everton Football Club. We're back to square one. We've got this debt. We've still got Mashiri as the owner. We've still got the transitional board, which again, that's another thing that we needs to change. We need new competent people on the boardroom with sporting integrity, know how to run a sporting football club, a sporting club, and how to make it go move forward, because it's not good enough at this moment in time, and it needs to change quickly. It should have changed soon as they would make it. They can probably make provisions. They can probably make decisions and say, well, let's get some people to change things on there. If it's going through transitional, why can't they do that? Somebody will probably tell me, well, this is the reason we can't do that. But it could have started somewhere, or even Mashiri could have. Somebody could have decided, let's get the right competent people in straight away, and through advice, through the advice of 777, who could guide, say, look, we've got these people, let's put them on, and they'll put them on. And if it falls flat, then they go, and then we start again. But we need people to start the process of trying to to get things running quickly, because this is just dragging on and on and on. And how much money will it realise? How much money is 777 in putting money in to keep the club going on a week to week basis or month to month basis? How much are they putting in? So that's worth to find out, because if it falls flat, they want it back. I would guess they would want that back. And then it's back in Mashiri's hands, and then here we go again. Anyway, sorry, something has to give. But anyway, from the statement that came from that, it came across to me, they're trying to be positive, putting everybody, thinking we're going to be good for this, for Everton Football Club. That, when the takeover is complete, you know, everything, we're going to come in, we're going to bring the right people, we're going to do the right things, and we're going to get this football club back to where it wants to be. And they're putting all the right stuff out. That's what you would expect from that statement. But we need meat on the bone. We need to know what is actually going on as regarding the funding and everything else that I've mentioned. So anyway, I know left it a little bit on a sour note in the sense of my feelings towards 777, and a little bit, and I want to be positive about them, but that noise out there is still so deafening, so loud that I can't feel relaxed about it until you know if they do complete, and if it turns out to be the best thing that we've ever made, best ever decision we've ever made. I don't know. I'm not a businessman. I don't take over, but I'm just worried that are they the right people? And they need to convince me that they are the right people. And yes, they're communicating and they're putting, communicating with fans and everybody else, freely a lot over the last few weeks since the takeover was announced. And that's great and that's really good on that front. But I need to know more before I can be convinced that these are the right people to take my football club, our football club forward, especially into the new stadium. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, on that note, thank you very much again for listening. I do appreciate all the feedback and all the support that I've been getting for this. It's been fantastic, and I'll continue to churn these out. But I do enjoy doing these, and especially when we get a result on Saturday, it's really, it starts the week in a really positive frame of mind. And long may it continue with the team. Long may we continue to grow and get better as the weeks and months go on. But let's end this on a positive note. And as I say, come on, you Blues. And this is Mark signing off, and I look forward to speak to you all again, probably in a week's time, to talk about Liverpool and the review, everything planned for the next game. So take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.